Welcome back. Now we looked at the different questions. Let's now look at the content. So the familiar content that you need to be familiarized with is in financial documents. It's going to be household bills, documents relating to workplace and small business finance, and then also municipal tariffs, telephone tariffs, transport tariffs, and banking tariffs as well. Remember, municipal tariffs can be either water or electricity and all your other, rates and taxes. Then, for income, expenditure, profit and loss, as well as cost price, selling price and the break-even analysis, it's going to be small businesses like a bakery, a tuck shop, a spaza shop, a street vendor, garden service, or any type of catering. Remember, because this is familiar context, you need to go and look at these businesses so that you know what type of expenses and income they can generate so that you can answer the question much clearly. Then you also need to pay special attention to personal income and expenditure and also business or workplace income and expenditure. So now with grade 11, it's personal and business, but remember we focus on small businesses. Interest, bank loans and investments. This is where we're going to use simple and compound interest and loans. Remember never to use a formula. Fixed deposit accounts, bank accounts with changing balances. All banking topics will be covered in this context as well. Then when it comes to inflation, you need to know the influence on inflation on personal household financial activities. So what is the cause of inflation and what do you need to do to counter that? Then looking at tax, it's VAT and UIF. Remember that VAT is 15% and UIF is 1%. Then going to exchange rates, we need to work with foreign exchange rates tables and estimate the value of one currency, and then remember it must be in relation to another currency. So with exchange rates, we will also always be looking at two currencies at the same time. Let's quickly look at data. Now, after you developed your questions, you will be using or choosing appropriate instruments to collect data. Your questionnaire, an interview, an observation, or getting it from a database. Remember, it's very important for you to be able to develop questions surrounding the scenario that you are doing research on, and also to know the pros and cons of these different methods or instruments so that you can choose the correct one. And then it's very important that you know the difference between a sample and a population. And remember, for a sample to be reliable, it needs to be a true reflection of the whole population. Then the rest with data handling is where you're going to classify data either as categorical or numerical, and then if it's numerical, whether it's discrete or continuous. My guide always is, if I can count, it is discrete, and if I can measure, it will be continuous. Organizing the collected data into tallies and frequency tables, that will be your next content, and then summarizing the collected data by using measures of central tendency and spread, where it will be the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. Please make sure that you know the difference so that you don't confuse yourself. Data handling continued. Now we are going to represent the data using different graphs. It can either be a bar graph, histogram, line and broken line graphs can also feature there. Also, you can have a scatter plot and a multiple compound or stack bar graph. And then pie charts. Now with a pie chart, you are not expected to draw, you must simply answer questions by using the pie chart. And then lastly, interpret and analyze the data by identifying and describing the trends. What is the general tips for answering paper 1? First, always start with question 1. That is your easier question and that will just settle you and work on your confidence. Read the instructions carefully, especially when it comes to finance. Underline your keywords. Go and underline keywords so that you know what is expected from you. Now, very important, rounding. Round correctly and show all units. Remember, we don't always round to 2 decimals, we round in context. Know your terminologies. That's always bonus marks when you need to describe them. And manage your time. Make sure that you don't spend too much time on a question and then the next one might have been your strong point. Choose one solution and never use and or. Remember, that will count against you. Wow, and that brings us to the end of the exam guide. I hope you learned something. See you again sometime.